A comment on my YouTube, it said, do you ever just sit and think about the good old days when you were living with Mike, waking up every morning, getting people to buy you Bojangles and then playing video games? And the answer is yeah, of course. But you know, it's all part of God's will, you know. I know that I did everything I was supposed to. I know that you know, I wasn't in the wrong for that, you know. And Mike said whenever he kicked me out and I left, he said, well, he stole from me and then I left. He was telling me I had to leave at a certain point, but he also stole $500 from me, so I didn't stick around. But you know, he said after I left, oh, it feels so good to not wake up to somebody saying please, 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 or hearing thumping in the house because Austin's live streaming. You know, I'm so glad to have the peace back in my own house. And the thing is that his father owns multiple trailers. He gave him one and he gave his sister one, but his sister gave it up and moved out. And his sister moved out while I was staying there. So it's only 2 trailers down. There's a whole property and trailer owned by his father before all this drama happened. And I talked to Mike and I'm like, yo, let me buy that from your father or rent to own it or something like that. He said no immediately. Like he said, that's mine. He said, nah, that's not for you, that's for me. You know, basically saying he doesn't want to help out his supposedly friend by, you know, letting him rent or own this other property that's now vacant that his father owns because he wants it for himself. And that just shows you, you know, even petty bourgeois, you know, and in this case, Michael was petty bourgeois. He owns his own house and is renting a room. You know, he's using this room in his house as private property, you know, to exploit somebody who's in a vulnerable position, who doesn't have any other options, who's homeless. And, you know, he doubled my rent and then he refused to even let me rent the vacant house 2 doors down that his father owns because he wants it for himself. And, you know, while I was living there, I was paying all of his bills. He had a electric bill and a water bill, and I got the internet put in there, and all of it was paid by me. You know, his bills were less than what I paid him for rent, so he literally made all of the bills he had to pay plus extra just for allowing me to stay there. And even when an opportunity opened up to actually let me have a home, it was literally within his power to help me actually have a home, but he immediately declined and refused, because even petty bourgeois have this mindset where, you know, they feel like it's their right to exploit other people who are in poverty, who aren't as privileged as them. They think because it's his birthright, because his father owns all this land, you know, it doesn't matter that I need a place to live. You know, he's the son of that father. His father worked for that, so it's his right to say fuck me and keep both of those places just for himself. You know, and that's what we want to end in socialism. In socialism, Mike would not be allowed to do that. In socialism, I would be allowed to move into that vacant house and he wouldn't have any say over it, because I'm a human being and every human being deserves a house. And no other human being has a right to hoard shelter to exploit others who don't have it because of generational wealth. Okay, we knew that, you know, there's a lot more to it, and just read Karl Marx, educate yourself on socialism. There's a difference between personal and private property. Everybody has a right to their own belongings that they worked for, like their car, their house, you know, their toothbrush, their own personal belongings, but they don't have a right to buy houses just for the purpose of exploiting someone else, just for the purpose of having a predatory practice of making them pay you rent because you're in a more privileged position to own it, and they don't have any option to own a home. Okay, so thank you.